All right, we're going to create some texture by rolling some paint onto our rollers, starting at the bottom, going up to the top. We don't want to go back and forth or else we'll lose our design. So let's pick up a little bit of paint. So I dipped it in there and I'm kind of wiping it off. I don't want to press too hard because I have some gobs in here. I'm going to start at the edge, lightly roll, and we're creating our patterns. I'm not pressing too hard. If I pressed real hard, this is how it would look. So make sure you're just lightly pressing. And we did it right next to it. Now we're going to let that dry and that will be our table. All right, now we're going to prepare our foam plate. This is what we're going to be using for our printmaking. I'm going to work going across, thinking of all the different lines I know. I know a straight line. I know loop-de-loop lines. We have zigzag lines. Notice how I start at one side of the foam and go all the way to the other. I'm pressing hard. I know diagonal lines. Not too hard that you get a hole all the way through, but hard enough to leave an indent. How about wavy lines? We can do thick lines. If I'm doing a thick line, I'm going to do a couple together and I'll short overlapping strokes to indent that foam. You feel like you have enough lines, you're done. Now we can add some color using our washable markers. I'm starting at the top. I'll work my way down. If I ran my hands on this foam, my marker ink will come right off, so I'm going to try to get my hands out of the way. I like to do the edges first. All right, now we're ready to print. All right, I've moved my foam to the side. I have my white paper. We're going to give it a couple squirts of water. Not too much. If you have too much, we can go ahead and just pat a little bit of it off. The key is you want it damp, not sopping wet. Now we'll take our foam plate. Notice how I'm grabbing it on the sides. I'm going to take the wet part of my paper and flip it over, line it up. Once I lay it on the foam plate, I cannot move it. So I've laid it down and I'm going to gently massage the paper. Ooh, look at that. And then we've printed what was on this foam. So wherever our yellow was is now on the paper. Once you're done with that, you can wipe off your plate. and do it again if you like. Our paper's dry, we can start assembling our artwork. I've chosen this blue paper for my background. This is going to turn into my tabletop. So here's the halfway point. Maybe I'll go just a little bit lower. Cut that straight across. And I'll line this up with the bottom of my paper. That looks pretty good. Go ahead, flip this over. Put a couple glue dots along the edge. 2 hands. Line it up. Make sure it's not like this. This white paper needs to go all the way to the bottom. And gently press. Now we can take our vase or our print and turn it into a vase. First step is to cut out right around our edges. All right, I've chosen a few different papers for my flowers, and I have a couple different circle shapes. So I'll go ahead, hold this, trace it, and then maybe I'll do a smaller one. Notice how I'm going to the corners, not right in the middle, so we have more paper to use. We can share with our friends at our tables. Now I'm ready to cut them out. Nice and carefully, make sure you're leveling up with your craftsmanship. This paper is still good, so I'll leave that in the center for anybody else to use. And small one. Now we've done a lot of lines. We had the zigzag lines on the tabletop. Maybe you had straight lines. And then we printed using lines. We're going to use one more line. We're going to use our black paint sticks. We're going to make a spiral line. So I'm going to start in the center and go round and round to the edges. Start in the center. Nice and slow, getting bigger and bigger. I can go right to the edge. Now let's see, let's put it all together. Well, that's looking great. So now we can take and glue our vase down. Just a little bit of glue. Take our flower. This could use just a couple of leaves. So I have green paper. I'm going to fold it in half. Draw a leaf. When I cut it out, I should get how many? Let's see. 1, 2. And then we'll go ahead and glue these down. I'll tuck that one under there. And if you want, you can go ahead and add more lines, if you like. And there is our still life of flowers using lines.